JBNN will keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones. Before we get into the news, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share the news with someone today. Now onto the news. Elderly security guard killed in suspected hit and run in St. Anne. A 74-year-old security guard lost his life following a suspected hit and run along Development Road in Ocheres, St. Anne on Monday night. The deceased has been identified as Ron Murray of Charlestown in St. Mary. According to the Ocheres police, around 8 p.m., Murray was attempting to cross the roadway when he was struck by a motor car. The driver reportedly failed to stop. Murray was rushed to the hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries while undergoing treatment. The police are appealing to the driver involved to turn himself in immediately. Anyone with information that can assist investigators is urged to contact the Ocheres police at 876-974-2523, 119, or visit the nearest police station. Man chopped to death during dispute over $1,000 in East Kingston. A man was chopped to death during a dispute over $1,000 at Hippolyte Road in East Kingston on Sunday. The deceased has been identified by the police as 36-year-old Don Andrew Campbell, otherwise called Don, a resident of the community. The police have since named Derek Shaw, otherwise called Fighter, as a person of interest in connection with the killing. He is asked to report to the Elliston Road CIB by 6 p.m. on Tuesday. According to reports, around 12 p.m., Campbell and Shaw, who lived at the same premises, got into a dispute. During the dispute, police said a machete was used to inflict chop wounds to the right side of Campbell's neck, his left hand, and both of his wrists. One of his hands was reportedly severed. Campbell was taken to the Kingston Public Hospital, where doctors pronounced him dead on arrival. Police investigations revealed that both men had a dispute over a $1,000 bill that fell to the ground from Shaw's pocket. Campbell claimed the money was his, resulting in a confrontation. Further investigations indicated that both men had a long-standing dispute that spanned several years. 39 shelters within St. James still unreachable. Mayor of Montego Bay, Richard Vernon, says he is still unable to reach 39 shelters in the parish due to a lack of connectivity.
We are still in a situation where we are unable to reach several shelters. We have 26 shelters that we can actually reach of the 65, and the others we can't reach them. We have 10. The condition is unknown because the communities have been totally cut off. Roads completely gone. So 7 rivers, the river is still on the road. Stein, Irwin, Chelsea, Bridge gone. Mopa, Orange, the road gone. We have the remote ones like Cambridge High School is a shelter, and it is still maroon. The soldiers have to make 2 trips to that area using boats and such to access the area. They're doing airdropping in some sections, and these shelters are included.
Mayor Vernon says several communities in the municipality have started to have their water supply restored, but they may have to wait a bit longer for electricity.
The assessment in St. James for the distribution system is 30%. That story tells me that we have to break a little bit more for the restoration of electricity. But several communities have already started to receive water from NWC. Our river system is almost at where it was before to supply water to the communities. But we had an interruption from the Martha system when one of the lines got fed late last week that affected the supply of water in other sections of St. James. Supply is an issue. It was before, and we will expect the same now, but they are getting water to the communities. And the ones that are having the challenges via the supply system, we will use trucks to reach those communities.
MP Burchell makes passionate relief assistance appeal for her constituents. Passionate and on the brink of tears, Opposition People's National Party Member of Parliament MP for St. James Southern Nikisha Burchell on Monday appealed for Hurricane Melissa relief assistance for her constituents, the majority of whom, she says, are not only homeless but hungry and trapped in their communities with the carcasses of their livestock. She was speaking at a media conference at the party's Old Hope Road headquarters.
To enter the constituency, traditionally we use 5 different routes. We have only been able to clear 1 route into South St. James, and that is through Long Hill to Anchovy Mafuta, Barnet Bush to take you up to Garland's Moko Maroon Town, or you go right at Fern, Plum, Cambridge to go as far as you can until you're stopped by downed power lines, poles, landslides, and rivers. Yes, the 7 Rivers has taken the road we have in the Bickerstead Copperwood plantation area. We still have communities that are marooned and do not have access to food. And when I say no access to food, what I mean is that when we advised them to go to a shelter like the shelter at Cambridge High School, we told them that we were advised by the government that food would come after the storm, which was a mistake because some went in from as early as Monday of last week and they have not had food up till now. We were able to send a little boat across, a little blow-up boat across the roadway to get to some, and they got food for one night because the boat couldn't hold much more. We have seen the helicopters flying in the sky above us in South St. James, but most times they're going to St. Elizabeth or Westmoreland. They're going to the sexy places where disaster grief is big profit and big public relations opportunities. In South St. James, we're farmers, we're humble people, we don't like to beg. But I'm appealing on our behalf because we need urgently food for our people who are marooned in places like Catadupa, in Jungle, in Awful Gully. We're calling for help for people in Retrieve, where we join Eastern Westmoreland, because they were only able to get their dead out of the community just 2 days ago. We're asking to have the health authorities come in because the cows are still floating, the goats are still floating in the waters that have taken and submerged communities like Spring Bottom in the Roehampton area. 2-story high houses are still underwater. We have a coaster bus, you know the height of that, that is still submerged along the roadway to Cambridge. Based on my estimation, over 70% of the housing stock, the business, the livestock, the agriculture has been lost in South St. James. And when I go to the community, I don't know what to say to them because they ask me, MP, you see my house, it was right here, it's no longer here, what do I do? I tell them that I have not yet gotten a word from the government, right? To tell us how we're going to help them to rebuild and to get their lives back together, right? So, we're not asking because we are greedy. We're asking because the collaboration and the coordination on the ground is not reaching our people in South St. James. When I'm able to bring 2 bags of food like I did last night to the school at Malden High, they were not able to make breakfast this morning because it could only last 1 day. I'm asking you to help us to airlift some food into the communities, to get the sick people out of the homes and into the hospital. We have some pregnant mothers we were able to get to the hospital at Cornwall Regional just yesterday. Her baby was not moving anymore in her belly, right? We have an urgent need in South St. James, and I know everybody is trying. All I'm asking is don't forget South St. James in all of this, because we are proud farmers and we want to get back with our lives, but we need the donations to come to us too. We don't want to stay left behind because we're deep rural.
JPS asked to relocate some of its grids underground. JPS has been tasked to explore relocating where feasible the grid underground, PM Dr. Andrew Holness said.
The Ministry with responsibility for energy is coordinating grid stabilization and resolving localized issues such as low voltage and restored feeders. Yesterday, the JPS would have given an update on the status of electricity restoration. The government has given them strategic direction to make a priority to restore large commercial and urban centers in addition to critical public facilities. Moreover, they have been tasked in their grid restoration efforts to explore relocating, where feasible, the grid underground. We have given them directives regarding Montego Bay, the Elegant Corridor and the Hip Strip would be two areas where focus should be given to put the grid underground. If other areas are feasible, going underground is expensive. So we have to balance between expense and getting the grid up. But if we are getting the grid up and we can get some resilience in it, then we have to get the resilience in. So we will balance as we can, but it wouldn't be possible for all the grid that we have to put back up to put it underground. But in areas where it makes strategic sense, then we are encouraging them and indeed directing them to ensure that that is done.
Hurricane Melissa damage estimated at about $6 billion US.
Based on benchmarks from comparable regional disasters, physical damage to housing, commercial buildings, roads, electricity, water, and telecommunications infrastructure is estimated between $6 to $7 billion US, equivalent to roughly 28 to 32% of last year's GDP, last fiscal year's GDP. It is, members, a major hit to our economy. And I want the country to appreciate that we have never had a disaster of this magnitude with this economic footprint in terms of the impact. Not Gilbert, not Ivan, all of those were relatively small to our GDP. To lose 30% of your GDP is significant. So, still preliminary. I believe it is conservative based upon the damage that we have assessed, but the relevant public agencies are doing their assessment in addition to what they have to collate from the private sector. And so I would say in another few weeks we should have what the real figure is, but we can use this as a benchmark based upon what other countries would have been impacted and what we have observed and what has happened to us here in Jamaica with a Category 5 hurricane. We anticipate a temporary slowdown in economic activity, particularly in the most affected parishes. Agricultural output will decline in the short term as farmers replant and livestock operations recover. The tourism sector, while resilient and working swiftly to reopen, will require targeted support to restore capacity and confidence. Small and medium-sized enterprises, especially those in retail, manufacturing and services, and the creative industries, have sustained significant losses and will need liquidity and recovery support to rebuild inventories, repair their facilities, and restart operations. At the same time, supply chains for food, construction materials, and consumer goods are being actively restored, though some market disruption may occur in the immediate weeks ahead. A very preliminary estimate suggests that short-term economic output could decline by 8 to 13%. Madam Speaker, this means that revenues will decline as well as economic activity slows, even as expenditures must increase to finance emergency relief, recovery, and reconstruction. This will place pressure on our fiscal targets. Pressure is a euphemism. As we did during the COVID-19 pandemic, my administration will act responsibly, transparently, and with foresight to protect lives and livelihoods while preserving Jamaica's hard-won macroeconomic stability. In this regard, it will become necessary to activate the lawful provisions under Section 48C of the Financial Administration and Audit Act, which allows for the temporary suspension of the fiscal rules in certain circumstances of national emergency or extraordinary economic disruption. We anticipate a rise in the debt-to-GDP ratio in the short to medium term as resources are channeled into rebuilding and resilience.
EU members collaborate to bring relief supplies to Jamaica. A shipment of relief supplies provided through a collaboration by the European Union, EU, France and the Netherlands has arrived in Jamaica, with the parties promising much more to come in the next days and weeks to meet the immediate and long-term needs of the country and its people.
The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Marianne. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you. Carlos has become a good friend of the European Union. Not new in his function, but we've been working together for quite a while already. Let me just start by conveying the deepest sympathy and solidarity of the European Union and its leaders and its people to the people of Jamaica. There is a great deal of solidarity and commitment to help and support Jamaica in this disaster and devastation. We have been working very closely together with EU member states like France as Team Europe, and we are combining EU funding, assistance and tools with member states' assets and resources in Europe and here in the Caribbean. There is much more to come. We have the next shipment will be coming in tomorrow through a Dutch vessel from here from the Caribbean region. Then we have Spain coming in, we have Germany, Belgium and Luxembourg coming in with substantial, much needed supplies. I'm talking about power generators, mobile hospitals, medical staff, much of mobile connectivity as well for satellite connections. And we immediately activated our EU mechanisms for cooperation, coordination of disaster response and civil protection. We also activated the European weather forecasting system, and we gave free access to Jamaica and other Caribbean partners for that because it can play an important role in predicting and tracking hurricanes in the region. And I'm happy to see that it was very widely used in the region but also elsewhere. We have activated our Copernicus system, which is a satellite imaging system, and it is roaming around now to assess the damage, identify location where the damage has occurred. And I would say that within the Team Europe we have member states who have come on board with our mechanisms, and this arrival of this port today, of this vessel at Kingston port today, is what we can really achieve when we join our forces with member states but also with others, because the partnership is much more than just the European Union. We have been partnering, of course, first and foremost with the government of Jamaica and its local authorities, ODPM. At regional level, we've been partnering with the Caribbean Disaster Management Team, and of course the UN agencies, World Food Programme, International Organization of Migration, UNICEF. All these partners are very important because they provide what is needed in this country. Some of it is funded by the European Union, some by other partners. So I would like to thank you all. It's been really fantastic to see this kind of warm-hearted and great spirit of collaboration and collective commitment to help Jamaica in its disaster. So thank you very much to all of you for showing up in this event. Thank you. It has been the arrival of this boat has been a result of a huge effort of collaboration and solidarity and cooperation within the European Union. We work as Team Europe. Belgium is here as well. There will be another shipment coming in from there. Tomorrow we will have a Dutch Navy coming in with more supplies as generators you mentioned, but also connectivity, mobile connectivity equipment, mobile hospital, and many other supplies that are needed, much needed and of course we have worked together with UN agencies in Barbados and elsewhere to fund some of these supplies and other partners as well. So we're very happy to see that this is now kicked off with the first arrival through the EU mechanism with the French Navy. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. I don't know what more there is to say in terms of gratitude, but just as the items move off the ship, I look forward to hearing about their coordination and deployment through the JDF and getting them to the most needy communities, because there are several who have not even been identified formally on the list yet because they are still marooned and persons are still seeking to create access. A lot of work was done yesterday in opening roads, and that will help with much more activity today and coordination with other partners who are, of course, here ready to deliver. But that last mile, the actual handover, the coordination and the delivery, that's where we need to be 100% today. So again, we're so pleased that this could be mobilized so quickly, and we commend and thank every partner that's represented here today and those who are not. Those who are not.
JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.